telling you, every single thing I've seen has been lining up to May. I mean, for months now. And I know that to some extent, it may seem like a lot of us are like pushing the goalposts forward and trying to make sense of things. Some of that is true. But I think that this slideshow that I'm going to clip through is going to really put things in a perspective for you and to really help you understand. If you saw my most recent video where I basically looked at the charts, the time frames, and I basically broke down how realistically the peak of this market shouldn't even be happening until likely sometime in October. Okay. I've been fighting that, thinking that maybe this was going to be pulled forward a bit. Because of the way we reached a new all-time high prior to the halving of this cycle. So many things have been happening, but a lot of that is because of the institutional money playing games and doing a lot of different things, preparing, pushing the price down. I just saw something recently I want to show you, but on February 5th, there were over 1,400 Bitcoins sent over to exchanges, and then we watched the price just start to dump. Somebody with a lot of Bitcoin decided to send it to an exchange and then start selling on February 5th. And so we saw that price decline. Now, we know that the institutions are buying over the counter. The balance of over-the-counter Bitcoin has been diminishing quite rapidly. We get a little bit of inflow and then a lot of outflow in terms of like over-the-counter balances on exchanges. Last I checked, there were around 143,000 Bitcoin available over the counter. I haven't checked recently, but something tells me it might be a little bit higher right now because of the manipulation. I look at it as manipulation. You can look at it any way you want. But all of the things that are happening right now, I believe are going to really start coming together leading up between now and May. And I'm going to jump right into this and show you exactly what I'm talking about. This is the power of May. Why May will be monumental in crypto. Now, the first thing that we're going to look at that just came to light is the May 7th interest rate cut. Now, a lot of people I don't think a lot of people realize that this was a new decision. At least to my knowledge, it was a new decision because the Jerome Powell had basically stated previously that there weren't going to be any interest rate cuts in 2025. And what we're seeing is Trump has been really trying to push the arm of Jerome Powell to cut interest rates. And he's doing that in a variety of different ways. And a lot of the sense that's being made of this is like, why are the markets coming down? Why is everything falling seemingly, right? What's the reason for all of this? Every time Trump says the word tariff, the markets take a dip. Everything Trump seems to be doing right now essentially seems to be pushing the markets down. And everybody's like, what the hell's going on? Well, we're coming up in the time period where apparently the United States has to refinance its debt. So you've got Elon Musk, who's doing all of this stuff to basically expose all of the fraudulent, wasteful spending, all of the corruption, everything that's going on with a lot of these government programs that have been overlooked forever, seemingly. And he's cutting billions and billions and billions of dollars out of our national spending to basically stop some of the bleeding that's happening to our national debt. In the midst of that, they're working out all of these different ways of repaying this debt and basically making this country a powerhouse in finance yet again. And we're going to get into some of the ways that they're going to be doing that. But essentially what's happening is we're watching these markets come down because Trump is forcing Jerome Powell's hand at lowering interest rates. And it looks like it's going to be working because they've announced that they're going to actually have a decision on May 7th regarding the first interest rate cut. Now, I think this is going to happen. Inflation is down. Inflation has been going down since Trump took office. True inflation is significantly lower than what's represented in some of the charts. And so they're basically saying, listen, it is time. They should be cutting interest rates immediately, but they're putting it off until May. Now, something can happen in the midst of that. Maybe there's an emergency rate cut that's happened before, as I've seen. So anything is possible, but that's one of the big first catalysts of May going for a major run. Now, let's continue diving into this further. The SEC has basically pushed off making a decision on the Cardano ETF to May 29th. Okay. Now, this is a big deal. It's funny because my wife and I were just talking about stuff last night. And my wife is really big into astrology and she just loves reading my charts and hers and sharing it with me whether I want to hear it or not. And she was telling me last night about May 29th and a lot of the significance. This was before this morning when I saw this ETF decision being pushed to May 29th. And I texted it to my wife and she's like, see, I told you. I'm like, okay, whatever. But anyway, I think some of that's funny. Some of there is some truth to some of these things, but that's just kind of the way it's all structured, in my opinion. Now, this is a really, really big decision because effectively what this means is if this ETF is approved, these are spot ETFs. So effectively what this means is Grayscale will have to start accumulating Cardano for all of the retirees, all of the people with 401ks, with all these different investment vehicles. They might know about Cardano. They might watch us on YouTube talking about Cardano. They might know all about it, but they don't really feel comfortable playing with these digital wallets or any of the software and these long string addresses. It's befuddling to some people. But this way, they'll be able to call up their broker and say, I want to buy some of this Grayscale Cardano ETF. Now, these ETFs, especially like a Cardano ETF, is significant in a lot of different reasons. Now, this effectively will make Grayscale a DREP in the Cardano governance system. So I believe that a lot of these Cardano-based ETFs are probably going to start growing in number as companies decide that they want to have some DREP voting power in the governance body that is Cardano. So I'm interested to see how this goes about. But May 29th, there could be a decision. And once that decision is approved, if it's approved, assuming it's approved, given where we're at with this new administration and the way they're looking at things, by the way, congratulations, Ian Bellina, on getting that case dropped by the SEC. Just another bullshit case by the old SEC targeting people for really no apparent reason, just to basically create fear and panic in the market. I've always liked Ian Bellina as one of the very first people I've ever watched on YouTube myself back in 2017. Smart guy. He's got a great team, great people. Actually came to my house in Puerto Rico with his team and we just hung out and talked. And I was just really impressed. I really like him a lot. And his token metrics platform that I'm sure spent a lot of money building, I'm sure should start growing and doing well again. So congrats, man. So anyway, this SEC Cardano ETF decision coming May 29th, I think it's going to be a really big deal for a multitude of reasons. Now, Cardano's midnight launch to 37 million users. This is going to be a huge deal. And I think that the Cardano ecosystem has been waiting for this for quite some time. I'm still waiting for some significant alpha from the contacts that I have at midnight who aren't telling me jack, which I feel like they should. But midnight is being distributed to 37 million accounts across 8 blockchains: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, Cardano, and so forth, including XRP as well. This means that all those users will have to come to Cardano to redeem a Cardano native asset. 37 million. That is 13 times the size of all the lifetime active addresses on Cardano. That is a quote from Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano himself. So this is breaking down some of the different elements of what's going to happen. Now, what is Cardano? Well, effectively, Cardano is going to be the privacy layer, or Midnight is going to be the privacy layer for Cardano. And it uses a technology called ZK, Zero Knowledge Proofs, which effectively means if you think about, let's just say that there were digital identification systems built on using Midnight and Cardano, which I believe is just a matter of time if it's not already being built somewhere and just hasn't been announced. It's happening. Digital IDs are going to become the big bread and butter for everything crypto, real world assets, Internet of Things. All of these different technologies are going to be attached to a digital ID. The question is what blockchain or blockchains are these going to be issued on? It makes the most sense to be issued on Cardano, especially through midnight. And because midnight will, let's say you have a digital ID, maybe it's on your phone, and you go into a bar, rather than use a state ID, which I'm sure we're probably all going to continue using for years to come. But if it were a midnight digital ID and maybe the doorman says, I need to see your age, you could show him this and it will just say, verified legal over 21 or 18 or whatever the case may be, without giving away, without giving away like your home address, your social security number, like all the details that are irrelevant to the given situation. That's what zero knowledge proofs are. You can expose the proper information to the proper channels at the proper times without giving away the whole ball of wax. And it's a security thing, and it means a lot. And essentially, you can use this as a privacy layer for Cardano transactions and any other blockchain Cardano is interacting with, which is going to mean a lot more next. This is Bitcoin OS. Cardano becomes Bitcoin's layer 2. Now, a lot of you folks out there, I'm sure already are familiar with a lot of this, but for those of you that are not, this is basically a new tech that's coming about to create or to bridge. Not even bridge. It's much more than that. A lot of the haters want to call it a bridge, which makes me slip, but it's not even a bridge. But basically, this is going to enable Bitcoin users and Bitcoin holders to interact with the Cardano ecosystem on Cardano with their Bitcoin value and access smart contracts, Web3 gaming, DeFi, you name it. So, if there's a $2 trillion market capitalization for Bitcoin, all of that value can effectively start transacting on the Cardano blockchain. This is the biggest thing that's ever probably happened to Bitcoin or Cardano or crypto overall ever. Okay, since the inception of Bitcoin. And I don't think a lot of people really understand the true value of this, especially as it relates to having Midnight as a privacy layer that will be able to operate on both of them. Why is this a thing? Well, the technology behind Bitcoin is essentially the same technology behind Cardano. They're basically like brother and sister, except Cardano has smart contract functionality that Bitcoin doesn't. It was developed with this whole, you got all, hundreds of scientists or programmers and engineers and all these people working together in this peer-reviewed methodology of establishing the most powerful blockchain with all of the different promises, all of the different functionality that we've grown to know and love in Cardano, but in a scalable and interoperable way. Bitcoin doesn't do any of that. Cardano does all of that, and it's about to get even more powerful with Laos and Hydra and all of these other protocols that are being basically melted into the system. So this is extremely bullish, but there's one problem with this. This was established ultimately settling in Bitcoin, which is kind of a no-no. And it kind of set Charles Hoskinson off. And he said, if this is really to benefit the Cardano ecosystem, why doesn't this settle in ADA? It should be settling in ADA. You're using the technology, you're using the blockchain to achieve all these things, which is great, but why wouldn't it settle in ADA? And if you look at this, a quote from this gentleman, the founder, Eden Yago, says, Bitcoin OS might 40x Cardano's total value locked in just a few months. This is true, and this is going to be astronomical. But Charles says, no, I need to create my own version of this because I need this to settle in ADA. So you're going to have this version that basically settles in Bitcoin. This is for Bitcoiners. Okay, let's be real. This isn't a big boon to Cardano intentionally. It's utilizing the technology because it makes the most sense. And it's going to be the easiest to integrate with Bitcoin because it basically is grown from the same seed. Let's just put it that way. The petals and the flowers might be a little different, but the seed is pretty much the same. And then Charles is saying, this is great technology, but IOHK is going to create another version of this that launches in May when this version is basically being showcased at Bitcoin conventions. May is going to be significant for this reason primarily. So you've got one that's being showcased. I'm not sure if it's going to officially be launched, but I've confirmed with Charles that the IOHK version is launching in May. I think they're trying to get a head start on what the Bitcoiners are basically trying to do. Will it be a first to market, winning the case for everything? We'll see. I think the Bitcoiners are likely going to stay more true to, this version, if I'm honest. And effectively, it doesn't matter. The TVL is going to skyrocket. The Cardano IOHK version of this technology is going to skyrocket everything, and it's going to settle in ADA, and it's just going to be a really, really, really huge deal. So that's all coming in May, folks. That's just we're not done. So you've got these Bitcoin conventions happening in May. You've got the crypto conferences, Catalyst for Market Buzz in Toronto, Canada. You've got Canada's Crypto Week running from May 11th to May 17th in Toronto. And then you've got Next Block Expo set for May 19th and the 20th in Poland. There are other conventions happening. May is going to be a big month for Bitcoin and crypto across the board, and everybody feels it. Everybody knows it. Now, in addition to that, you've got the Bitcoin Act of 2024 making new ground in 2025. This is proposed by the wonderful Senator Cynthia Lummis. I would love to have her on the channel and talk to her sometime. But this is basically a Bitcoin purchase program. They want to purchase up to 200,000 Bitcoin per year for 5 years, totaling 1 million Bitcoin. And they want to do this without using taxpayer money. The funding source is Federal Reserve remittances to Treasury. May affect monetary policy debated by fiscal conservatives. We'll see. The holding period, a minimum of 20 years. This is because they don't want this to become a political thing where if something should happen in 2030 and we have another liberal-leaning politician that becomes president, they don't want any of these people to basically try and hijack what's being done to help the country for the sake of whatever narrative they would conjure up and get the media to perpetuate all over the place to all of the people who really don't think for themselves very much. I'm sorry, but it's true. They basically look for their guidance from the media to tell them what to be mad about, what to think, what to say, what to do, where to go pick it. It's all insane. But this is the truth. They want to basically make sure that can't happen for a minimum of 20 years. And this is a really, really big deal because we wouldn't want to set off on this great adventure, everything going really well, and then they come in and just wreck with a wrecking ball and tear it down. So it's a minimum of 20-year hold. Prohibits government seizure and affirms self-custody rights. So this act is basically saying, listen, we want to basically start accumulating up to 1 million Bitcoin or 1 million Bitcoin over a period of 5 years, purchasing 200,000 new Bitcoin a year. And we're not going to infringe on the individual's rights of owning and maintaining and custodying their own Bitcoin, right? So they're basically making it clear that this isn't a power play for us and not you. We want everyone to benefit from what's happening in the crypto space. It's self-sovereignty. That's what this is all about. This is the whole reason Bitcoin was created to begin with. And then, oh boy, Trump's digital asset stockpile. Announced initially on Trump's Truth Social, this is going to basically, they're going to be holding Ethereum, Cardano, XRP, and Solana. Now, there's a lot of speculation about what all this means and what all's coming, but effectively, I think this is just the start. I think this is where they're going to start. I think they're going to probably accumulate other assets in addition to this. I think a lot of the US-based assets are going to become a part of this stockpile. All of which, and a lot of people are like, so what? They're going to buy it and they're going to store it and they're not going to use it for anything. It doesn't matter. The thing you have to understand is that you've got the Bitcoin reserve. You've got Senator Lummis's act that's going to accumulate 1 million Bitcoin. You've got people like Michael Saylor, all the spot ETFs buying up Bitcoin, right? Now we're going to start seeing some of this stuff happen and trickle into the ETFs. That effectively means that all of these groups, organizations, government agencies, all of these people are going to be buying and accumulating digital assets for stockpiling, for a reserve, to be a store of value against gold, all these different things. ultimately taking money off of the table, taking supply out of the system, effectively making it easier for the bullish momentum to increase prices over time. The less available supply there is on exchanges, the more demand that goes up, the higher those prices go, right? That's what this is all about. This is about taking it off the table and creating a supply shock. That supply shock, as demand increases, and if you put all of this together, which I'm not done, there's still one more. May is going to be nuts, I'm telling you, folks. Trump stablecoin legislation. Now, they've announced that within the 100 days of office, they're going to be announcing or basically getting this new legislation signed to basically add regulatory clarity and some legislation behind stablecoins. They're starting with stablecoins. This, based off of 100 days in office, will end or will happen by the end of April or early May. Okay, so I'm leaving a little window there because I know that the Trump likes to be late. Okay, he likes to be fashionably late. So to me, this screams early May, which means that we're going to have, for the first time in the cryptocurrency space, we're going to have regulatory clarity forming up before our very eyes, all happening at a time when so many other things are coming together. And so while a lot of us are looking at these charts and we're thinking, gosh, it's boring. I'm tired of watching my bags go red. I'm tired of seeing every time Trump says something, the markets come down. All of this stuff is going to be blowing up in May. And it's just a matter of holding strong, accumulating what you can, keeping your eye on the ball, stay away from degenerate assets, stay away from meme coins, stay away from get-rich-quick schemes, stay away from influencers that basically have a significant vested interest in manipulating you into buying trash so that their bags go up. I'm telling you folks right now, I get offers all the time from projects. I get so much stuff, so many people wanting to pay me to talk about this and talk about that. And I don't have a problem doing that in most cases. If it seems legitimate and it looks like something that could be cool, I'm down. I'm into it. I got to pay bills too, but I always disclose every bit of that. And I also will not tell people to run out and buy something that I think is mid just because somebody's paying me. Right. And the problem is that any of these influencers that are outside of the United States, folks, they don't have to tell you squat. They don't have to disclose anything to you. They can be padding their pockets each and every day while promoting their next big thing and not tell you that they just got $100,000 to tell you that. Okay. And they do it. They do it in droves. I'm telling you, I know, because I talk to a lot of the people that represent this person, that person. I know what's going on. And I'm not generally one to like call shots and I'm not one to do that, but I can't help. I'm trying so hard to get you people to understand the way YouTube works, the way the crypto markets work, the way a lot of these people are not here to benefit you. They are here to do just enough to keep your attention, and they'll say whatever is going to do that. They study themselves. They study their analytics. They've got teams behind understanding what brings you back, what makes you click that, what makes you post comments. They know what drives you, and they use that to their benefit, and they cash in on it bigly. Okay, so you need to make sure you're very well aware. Some of us aren't full of flash and trash. We don't have editors and teams and all that. I make no apologies. It is what it is. I speak my mind. I go with my heart. I let time tell the tale. That's pretty much how I roll. I call it as I see it, for better or worse, and I'm always right sometimes. But I'm telling you right now, May is going to be a significant month in crypto. You're either going to be in or you're going to be out. We've watched Cardano shoot up over a dollar from what, 40, 56 cents, something. I can't even remember the price, but basically double or triple in a matter of like 4 hours. And if you're not in and you're not accumulating at the times when all of this stuff starts popping off, you're going to go to sleep one night all mad and disgruntled, and then you're going to wake up the next day and think, what the hell just happened? Why is everything blowing up? Why is everything green? And you're going to realize that Crow tried to tell you. And in the meantime, thanks for joining me, folks. Grow your coins, and I'll see you again soon.